Yo, what's up guys? Back with a brand new video, and Happy New Year everyone. I hope this year will be great for all of you. And today I'll be showing you some of my games against the best players in the world, including Mohamed Light, which will be at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But before we get into the games, make sure to like and subscribe, all the things that the YouTube algorithm likes. And I should mention that the video is split in between games I played early season and recently. Alright, that's enough yapping, see you in the first game. Okay, we're in the first game here, up against Rin. As you saw from his banner, he has a top 2 ladder finish in the world, and this is recent, so he's not washed or anything. And this guy's one of the best cycle players in the world, in my opinion. He's absolutely insane. And he's playing this interesting Hog Mortar deck, which I believe is like an older classic deck, but he's got the Hero Musk and the Hero Knight in it to, keep up with the times, if you will. So I'm not really sure how to evaluate this matchup. I feel like it should be about even. If you can force out Mortar and Hero Musk on defense, you can outcycle him, but his offense with the Evil Knight and the Hero Musk turret is extremely broken, as you'll see. But yeah, looking at his name in-game, I was extremely nervous, but as the game progressed, I got, more into the zone, if you will. You can't really think about who you're facing, you just need to try to play a good game. And when I saw the Hero Knight, I was like, okay, maybe this is drill. But yeah, when he played the Hero Musk, I assumed this was going to be Mortar. And right off the bat, this may seem like okay because he just played his Knight and his Muskie, so he doesn't really have, his best cheap response to the Miner would be Skeletons, or maybe like a Berserker. But this is already kind of a mistake because, well, you'll see what happens actually. But yeah, just be... And he plays a Hog here, and then pops the ability when his Knight is 1 HP, and look at what happens here. He also pops his Musk turret, and we're forced to Barbarian at 0. But his Musk actually locks onto my Musk, which, allows the Hog to just wreak havoc on my tower. And I didn't snowball there because I knew I would be down too much elixir. So we're already not off to the best start. Yeah, just be very careful around those heroes. Like, just abusing those abilities is extremely difficult to deal with. But yeah, Mortar's at 0, so we had good timing there. Like, I thought he would try to block the Mortar, but, we minored, which forced out a response from him. And, he plays good skellies there to block for his Hero Musk, and now it has the threat of popping a turret. And look at what he's doing. He's just, placing 2 heroes down, and once he has the elixir, he might just pop both abilities. And it may seem kind of silly, but the hero abilities are so broken that, he can get away with it. Yeah, the reason why I snowballed there is because I thought he would try to pop the turret right away, so I was trying to displace the Musketeer, so, the turret wouldn't be in range of tower, but he waited, which I guess is smart from him. And then he pops a last-second ability, and I think I had a little bit of drop delay there. I meant to play the Skellies down earlier, but yeah, the Knight gets a swing, and yikes, we're already down a lot of damage. But, that was kind of that's not the best Hog from him, I think. He wasn't up any elixir, and, it's not like he's outcycling our counters or whatever. So I was like, okay, since I have the Evil Musk, I probably will Balloon the Back. Balloon the Back is usually good, not in every matchup. Like, usually against, like, Mortar Bait, for example, you don't want to Balloon the Back. But I felt like I could probably get away with it here because, you would try to force the Mortar out in defense. And, okay, I want us to watch this sequence back. So he places his Skellies there to block the Hero Musk. I placed the Musk in the middle to try to, get it to walk into his Hero Musk, because if the Musk like walks like it can snipe the Musks from behind troops usually. So he places a Knight to block it, but probably a noob here would have maybe tried to like miner on the Musketeer, but look at this miner placement. And this was maybe a little bit lucky, but as you can see, this miner placement actually draws the Knight away from the Musketeer, and that allows it to actually snipe it. And he wastes his Mortar, and he plays a Hero Musk. So we know we've outcycled all of his counters, so we can just go in on the other side, because that was a big overcommit by him. I mean, he kind of had to, but yeah. And then he has to get a last-second Fireball off here, and then this is very important. Like, in these kind of situations, you can get away with snowballing the tower if a balloon is on tower, and they can't really punish you. Like, this will guarantee you get an extra hit, and it's just 2 elixir, and the damage is more crucial in this case. Like, we can put our skeletons for the musketeer if he, doesn't predict it with a log, and we're not even down any elixir, so this snowball is very worth it. And yeah, from here I was feeling really good, but he's got the hero stack going on, and we start playing the musketeers in the corner here because we know he has fireball, and we don't want to place it in like the same position in the middle to not give him any fireball value, so it's better to space your troops out like this. And, we have to commit extra elixir to protect our musketeer because of the hero knight, but, that's fine. And we're forced to play the miner here because I was pretty afraid of the ability. And, yeah, we're looking pretty good here. The game's not won yet, but, like I said, it's looking good. And here he mortars, and since it's being protected by the knight, a decent play is just to balloon on the mortar. And, yeah, it will take it out in 2 hits. And he hogs here, which is kind of bad timing from him. He's low on elixir, so he can't really, support his hog. But we do a bad snowball. If we pushed it away properly, it would have gotten no damage. But it's fine. Low misplays. I was a little nervous, so. But yeah, and in here I think we go balloon the back again. I think maybe he should have fireballed the balloon here. Like sometimes Expo players would do it, because, they can get away with it, because they have strong defense. And he places a musketeer there, and we do a pretty interesting sequence here. So we use the snowball to actually push the musketeer into our evolved musketeer, because I thought he would, protect it with the knight, but maybe he lost count of our cycle a little bit. And yeah, I knew he was rapidly cycling back, and this balloon is probably not going to break through, but I also knew that since he played his knight, his musketeer, and his skeletons, he wouldn't have anything to catch the miner. And miner chip is extremely important. Like, that miner is getting so much damage. It basically took his entire tower. And yeah, all you have to do is defend and get a few more miner hits. And the evil mortar is very scary, so even though I knew he would predict my balloon with his evil hero musk, the ability actually fails to pull the balloon, and it still gets on the evil mortar. So that was a very good, defense from us. And we send another miner in. He was able to catch it with the knight, but yeah, we just need one more miner hit, and this push is looking extremely scary. Like, we literally can't defend it. But the good thing is that he committed a lot of elixir on that push. He didn't have his skellies in hand, and just one more miner hit, and we take the game against a top 2 finisher, by the way. Yeah, that was an epic game, and yeah, see you in the next match. Alright, we're in the next game here, up against this guy. You may not recognize him from the name, but he is actually Lucas XIT. Not Lucas X Gamer, but this guy's one of the best giant one-tricks on top ladder. He had a top 45 finish in February and a top 35 finish in July of 2025, at least on this account. So yeah, he's one of the best giant one-tricks along with Kamikaze, and yeah. And this matchup is definitely good for Balloon. You just need to be careful in single elixir and know when to go in at the right times. And, there's a certain way to set up the defenses, so I'll show you guys how to do that properly. And yeah, I saw the Dagger Duchess tower and he played the Zap, so I immediately knew it was going to be Giant Prince. And a small but subtle thing is that if you have the option to, I think it's almost always better to bar barrel on the Dark Prince if you have like a setup like this. The reason why is because 1, it breaks the shield. 2, like the Dark Prince doesn't one-shot it unlike a regular Prince. So yeah, it's just to keep your Psycho Cleaner and the defense a little better, because the Ice Golem does quite well into Prince, but the Bar Barrel gets one-shot by the Prince charge. So yeah, just a little thing to keep in mind. And yeah, it's okay to Psycho Snowballs under tower during single if you have nothing better to do, because the Snowball doesn't really get that much value. Or it's not like necessary on defense. But yeah, here we just Skellies to absorb the Prince charge. He rages. I think this makes the Prince fully kill the Miner, but it doesn't get a swing on our tower, so that's good. And he Giants in the back, so what we want to do here is, just set up our bomb tower first, and then once the Giant walks up, we want to place our Musketeer in the anti-lightning position, so all the way in the corner. And this is the optimal setup. regardless of whether they have lightning or fireball. We obviously don't know at this point, but yeah. Here he does kind of a strange offense. I was a little bit confused why he didn't just spell down my musketeer to get some damage, but yeah, this is a clean defense. And generally you just want to set up your defenses like that, place troops like kind of near the bomb tower so the bomb can splash the giant and the supporting troops behind. And here I knew he would try to rage predict my skeletons, so I tried to be a little bit unpredictable and put them in the corner, and they do a nice job of taking care of that prince. And it's reaching double elixir, so I decided to go in here with a balloon, and I played it kind of far back, but you know, that allowed us to get an ice golem in front. And we get a nice snowball off here, and I thought this would force him to play a fireball, but he doesn't. He just ignores it for whatever reason. And the balloon gets a crap ton of damage there, so if we can defend this, we're already looking pretty good. And the bomb tower at 1 HP is still alive, and we are able to pull the raged up prince to the middle with the skeletons, and our evil musketeer is just cleaning everything up. But he is up an entire dark prince plus 1 elixir, so we need to be very careful in how we defend this next push. And he does a terrible evil bomber there that just gets wrecked by the musketeer. I don't know what that was from him. And, you know, even if he spelled down our musketeer here, he wouldn't be able to break through. So, yeah, that was a very clean defense by us. Just to reiterate, play the bomb tower, you know, offset slightly so the giant can walk slightly more into it. They don't have troops that can push the giant, so yeah. I mean, if you know you're playing against Giant Prince, that's usually safe. And then play your musketeer in the corner, so they have to spell one or either the bomb tower or the musketeer. And yeah, play troops. You can sacrifice tanks into the prince and dark prince. It's just to let the musketeer get more DPS. And yeah, that was an extremely clean game. He definitely did not play like, at least like when I got out of the game, I was like, okay, was this really a top ladder player? Like, not to diss him, but yeah, you know, it was actually, you know, one of the best giant one tricks, and yeah, that was my game against him. So yeah, that was a very clean win, almost flawless, and we'll see you in the next match. Alright, we're in the next game here against Ender G, and he is a pro player. He has a CRL 2022 competitor badge, I believe, and you know, you saw he had a 128, 127 finish in the world, so he's a good player for sure. And he's playing this weird minor rocket variation with the Hero Musk and Mighty Miner, and I didn't really know what deck I was playing against early on in the game, but yeah, you'll see how it progresses. And I believe I just miner on the tower after he, yeah. And when he played his Mighty, I was like, okay, this is Hog EQ, so this should be a good matchup, right? And to be honest, I still think this minor rocket variation isn't bad. I mean, obviously, the problem area is the Hero Musketeer, but the lucky thing for us in this matchup is that the Rocket Ice Spirit doesn't actually kill the balloon, and yeah, the Mighty Miner is a little bit awkward for him. And obviously he doesn't have a Tesla or a Goblin Hut. But yeah. Let's see how we play this offense. And I think I snowballed on the Hero Musketeer because I didn't really have anything better to do. And here I should have played the Barbaro first. So we allowed the turret to get a mini lock on our tower, but it's no big deal. It's just a little bit of damage. And here I had my Evil Musk already in Psycho, so I think I decided to go Balloon the back. I was kind of convinced at this point that this was minor poison. I didn't expect him to have a rocket, but, you know, he didn't have the wall breakers either. He had Ice Spirit, so I guess I should have anticipated it. So, yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't rocket the balloon here, but maybe he thought he could get away with it. But yeah, we do this epic play right here. Boom, predicting the Hero Musk directly in the middle there, and he's forced to rocket, but look at this unlucky interaction. The rocket Ice Spirit doesn't kill the balloon. That's kind of criminal, honestly. And we snowball the skeletons away. We don't get a hit, but that musketeer is going to town on his tower. And we've already put ourselves in a winning situation here. We just need to be careful, you know, not to throw and not to give him too much rocket value. So yeah, I think we decide to go in again because just to force out a rocket or other stuff on defense. And he does a good high cannon there to pull the balloon. And I think I accidentally activated his king tower, trying to get the balloon death bomb to tower, but it's okay. At this point in the game, the king tower activation doesn't really matter. The damage is the most important. And this bomb tower is really annoying for him to deal with. I just start putting it the same lane as the counter-pushing hero musketeers, because one, it does a good job at splashing them behind tanks, and two, it will soak up the turret shots. And it's unkillable, so if this was like a traditional minor wall breakers poison deck, they could have a chance of breaking through, but yeah, this kind of defense is very annoying for them. But also you have to keep in mind that we can't just keep turtling on defense because that gives him the chance to get rockets, so you do have to go in and pressure at the right times. So yeah, we just bomb tower the same lane as the musketeer, and that, means we only have to play a barber on the turret. And yeah, in these minor poison / like minor rocket, or maybe not minor rockets, but in like minor poison matchups, it's okay to minor on their minor to defend it, at least in single. I think in this scenario it was fine because we didn't really have anything better in cycle. And I believe we go balloon. Yeah, usually like balloon kind of near your tower is a decent play when they have rockets because they can't hit the balloon with the rocket unless they somehow do a magical prediction, and this allows your elixir to build up a little bit before the balloon crosses the bridge. Try to get a Evil Musk snipe on the Hero Musk. It doesn't work out, but it does hit the cannon, which is also okay. So yeah. Here's already looking pretty good. We just need to prioritize minor chip at this point, and making sure we don't get cheesed by some stupid turret play. And we pre-skellies behind for the minor, but he doesn't play it. I think we just Barbaro on the musketeer, yep. And then, yep. As you saw there, we minored on his tower while defending, and that's a good way to cycle as well, especially in double elixir against psycho decks. Just pressure while defending. And yeah, this should be wraps. I think we go in with a balloon here. And it's no big deal if they are able to rocket like two things at once. More important is to be able to, force out the rocket so they don't get a free one under tower. And we get a nice last second snowball there to clip the 1 HP cannon and get death bomb on the tower. So now it's all but over. And, just go balloon to bridge. And he gives up here, I think. It's a very clean win by us. Probably the main takeaway in this matchup is don't be afraid to go for those kind of predictions, because these kind of players with Hero Musk will always play in kind of a predictable way. So that was a nice, clean win, and yeah, we'll see you in the next game. Alright, we're in the next game here up against Daichi, and he had a top 188 ladder finish and top 35 GT, so he's quite a good player. And he's playing this Drill Rocket version, but instead of Berserker, he has the Hero Knight. And, regardless of which one is better, this is still quite bad for Balloon, even though they have no air defense. Why? Well, simply, Building Psycho, Evil Snow Bailout, Fire Spirit Rocket can kill a Loon, and not to mention how Drill always gets weird bits of damage, and they can Rocket Psycho you and get away with it. So I don't know whether Hero Knight or Berserker is worse, because Berserker, is the best 2 elixir counter to Minor, and it makes their cycle quicker, but their offense might be slightly augmented by the Hero Knight, and they can prevent all minor damage on their tower with an ability. So my advice in this matchup is to try to avoid going in single when they have 2 buildings, or they can rapidly get back to them, because they can activate the King Tower. And you can get the offensive tempo with a good Evil Muskie, so you'd want to be very aggressive and prioritize minor snowball / death bomb. And it's okay if they rocket on defense, but once you get the tempo, it's crucial to hold onto it and just keep spamming them. And yeah, in rocket matchups, like the last game, be annoying by getting good value from Muskie to middle. But yeah, it's a very difficult matchup, and hopefully this game can showcase to you guys how to manage it a little bit better. So yeah, from the Bomber and Skeletons, I already knew this was probably going to be Drill. So yeah, he does a good quite a good snowball here, actually, right into the bomber. And so he just put Ice Golem to protect the Musk, but maybe this was a mistake, because I think if he reacted fast, he could have Fire Spirit to splash the Muskie as well, but he goes for a cannon, and we just loon to, if he had poison here, he would have already been in trouble, but, we force out a rocket. And I thought he was going to pop the Hero Knight shield last second, so I just placed those skellies, just in case, I guess. It's just one elixir. And yeah, I would say probably your best bet is just to go for some miner ship in single, unless they really, really mess up, because they love to spam drills at the bridge. Drills along with everything else at the bridge. So, get a nice bomb tower there. And something the drill players, or at least like experienced drill players, will like to do is they like to place their drill, if you have a building, like slightly left or right. So if you place the building directly in the middle, right, for example, and they place their drill slightly to the right, your building won't spawn directly on the drill, so then their goblins will get on tower, which is really annoying, so you just need to be careful about that. And here the Muskie is getting good value, and we go for another bomb tower, but we could have bar barreled here, but I figured that we were down a little bit of elixir, so yeah, we just eat the goblin stab, which is okay. And I think we go for a bar barrel on the knight, and yeah, we survived until double elixir, which is very good. And we saw this in the last game against Ender G, but a balloon to the side like that is pretty decent, especially if they have rocket, because it just gives your balloon a little bit more time to travel and for you to accumulate some elixir. And this is kind of a bad snowball by me, but I thought a drill goblin would spawn a little bit faster, and that was just a cycle to the bar barrel, but we can go in now. And I feel like maybe he should have rocketed on defense, but it was a good Hero Knight ability, and now he has to rocket on defense or use the Evil Snow, so he opts to rocket. But since he uses rocket, we can actually go in again. And this is the thing, like once you get the offensive tempo in this matchup, it's very important to just keep going in. And, he can prevent damage from the miner with a Hero Knight ability, but it is 5 elixir, so it's more expensive compared to Berserker. And he unfortunately gets his King Tower up, so well played to our opponent. But, we already we have a 600 damage lead on him, so it's not looking too bad at all. And we go for a miner since we can counter the drill with just skellies and bar barrel. And something I want to warn you guys about is you usually want to delay your bar barrel when you're doing defenses like that, because you don't want to run the risk that you missed a bar barrel and the drill remained on some HP and the goblins just get on your tower. But let's actually rewind that a little bit. Got a little bit unlucky there because we didn't place the Ice Golem fast enough, so then the drill goblins spawn directly on tower. And this is what I mean, like the drill players are, yeah, drill behaves in funny ways, and he gets a lot of damage on our tower, so the lead is not looking as good as before, unfortunately. But yeah, we're just going for this snowball cannon every single time, and hoping to get some nice death bomb. And we get nice evil skellies on the drill, so I think we can, yeah, we go in again. And something that's pretty decent in this matchup, especially when they use their Fire Spirit, is to let the balloon tank for the miner, because as I mentioned before, the rocket plus Fire Spirit can kill the will kill the balloon, but yeah, just rocket is usually not enough, and they'll have to deal with the miner afterwards. So we predict his side drill placement with a nice bomb tower there, and yeah, from here it's looking pretty decent, honestly. But this high cannon does prevent us from going in, so we use a musketeer in the middle to just snipe it out, and then the balloon is traveling to his tower, and we have another balloon in Psycho, so just balloon miner trying to get that chip, and we snipe down his cannon. And here we just have to spam him to death, basically, because there's very few seconds left in the game. But this is what I mean, that Hero Knight ability, just preventing all damage, but we're effectively spamming him. He can't keep up with it and rocket cycle us at the same time. So we get a very close win against Daichi here. A good player. He played it pretty well, I would say, but I think he was forced into too much defense and didn't really get the opportunity to rocket cycle us as much. So yeah, that was a good game, and yeah, I'll see you in the next game. Alright, quick intermission before I show you guys the final game that I played against Mohamed Light, the 3-time world champion and greatest mobile gamer ever, W Glaze. But this is not a sponsored segment, so please don't click off. I'm trying really hard for a ranked finish this season, so I will post about it if I'm able to achieve it, but we'll see. Regardless, I want to say that I'll probably be streaming next early season, and I'll have a video out on the hero Ice Golem after I test out some tech with my friends, so look forward to that. I just want to say thank you for all the Unreal support and love this year, and here's to a great 2026. I'll be sending you off with the game against Mo. He clapped my cheeks with a hard counter, so I'll just show the footage without commentary because I think it's still instructive. Take care and enjoy.